The state of Maine is known for its many natural attributes. Its jagged, mostly rocky shoreline, paired with its world-famous seafood cuisine, standing tall at the top of its list. A resource as important as Maine's seafood industry needs to be regulated and protected. The officers of the Maine Marine Patrol are tasked with protecting the livelihood of the Maine coastline, living marine resources, and the fishing industry.
People's livelihoods depend on the resources in the state of Maine. It's a big part of the state's economy. It has been historically, and hopefully will continue to be.
If left unregulated, I believe that the oceans would not be in the same shape that they are today. I think that there needs to be some restrictions in place as far as what's taken, how much is taken. Otherwise, if left to a free-for-all, I don't believe the oceans will be able to support the effort placed upon it.
On January 9, 1867, a resolve was read by a Mr. Davis from the Committee on Fisheries to the Maine House of Representatives. The resolve, number 10 of the 46th legislature, was entitled A Resolve Relative to the Restoration of Sea Fish to the Rivers and Inland Waters of Maine. That 200-plus word resolve was the spark that ignited the now almost 150-year-old Department of Marine Resources. Although it may not have always had that name, the call to action presented to the men and women who are employed under its authority has been absolute since the beginning.
It's always been a very small agency charged with covering a huge coastline, trying to protect resources and fishermen who depend on them. The officer always finds himself between a rock and a hard spot because you're trying to protect the resource, which oftentimes includes limiting fishermen's access to it, and yet at the same time trying to protect those same fishermen whose livelihoods depend on it.
The Marine Patrol Officer is a highly trained law enforcement officer and is certified by the Maine Criminal Justice Academy. A candidate must pass strenuous oral boards, written examinations, physical agility tests, and polygraph psychological profiles. The Bureau operates a wide variety of watercraft. The largest of the fleet are lobster-style boats with high-performance diesel power engines. All are equipped with the latest in electronic aids to navigation and provide year-round, all-weather capability. The Bureau also maintains a small fleet of Protector Series speedboats.
The Protectors are rigid hull inflatable, and they wear twin 225s. So there's plenty of horsepower there, and they're built like a sports car and they handle like a sports car.
The Marine Patrol is tasked with a multitude of commercial and recreational responsibilities.
The commercial fishing industry in Maine not only brings a huge amount of money to the state, but it's also very steep in tradition. The commercial fishing has been around almost as long as Maine has been around.
The biggest commercial fishery by far is lobstering.
Everybody thinks of the fresh Maine lobster, a lot of tourism. It's on our license plate. 103 million pounds were caught in the state of Maine last year, so it takes up a substantial portion of our time, probably half, if not more.
We're checking for licensing, proper harvest method, trap construction.
We inspect the fisherman's entire catch.
We're looking for short lobsters and lobsters over the maximum legal size, which is 5 inches.
We inspect female lobsters for V-notches and that they're not bearing any eggs.
And then we do enforce the dealers as well. We can check what they have for product and make sure that they don't have anything illegal.
Every watercraft that officers board is checked for registration, licensing, and the proper safety equipment.
March is, we deal with smelt runs and the Elver fishery, which was obviously a big deal this year with the prices being up around $2,300 per pound.
Elvering is a nighttime activity. Their migration happens at nighttime high tides. So it involves a lot of surveillance and watching and a bit of sneaking around on people. Somebody tonight in the Elver fishing world will do something they're not supposed to do. We just need to find them. I saw a headlamp flash on that side of the road. I saw somebody walking back up. Marine Patrol, stay where you are.
Shellfish harvesting in the state is another big industry, specifically the soft shell clam harvest. Basically, that is done on the tidal flats of the state. Most of the enforcement is done on shore.
It's a lot of surveillance, so you spend time looking through optics of some sort, binoculars or a spotting scope.
Some areas in the state are closed to shellfish harvesting due to bacterial pollution or paralytic shellfish poisoning, also known as red tide. And a lot of time is spent enforcing those closures for public health reasons.
As well as regulating the commercial fisheries, the summer season is spent patrolling for recreational boating and fishing. Officers are also on the lookout for boaters operating under the influence and perform field sobriety tests. As cooler weather approaches, the Marine Patrol officers' duties are not done.
One of the fisheries in the winter is shrimp fishing.
During shrimp season, we're typically working off one of our larger patrol vessels with a small boat with a boarding crew.
We'll go out and find the boats that are towing and wait until they haul their net back aboard, and then we'll do a boarding and check and make sure they're regulated as far as net size, mesh size. They have to have a fish excluder device. Of course, they have to be licensed.
Scallop fishing is another winter fishery. A routine scallop patrol might include boarding scallop draggers or scallop dive boats.
Again, there's a whole list of regulations for drag configuration, the size of their rings, the width of the drag. Scallops have to be at least 4 inches in diameter to keep.
Also in the winter, sea urchins are harvested in the mid-coast and down east regions of Maine. Much like scallops, fishermen can acquire either a dive or drag license. This fishery also has size and time limitations. Marine Patrol officers have also inherited a number of other responsibilities. The Maine State Police and the Marine Patrol team up to create the Maritime Security Team that specializes in water-based tactical interception. Whale disentanglement teams utilize the resources of the Marine Patrol to free whales from trapping lines. The Marine Patrol works closely with the NOAA Office of Law Enforcement to monitor and enforce federal fishing laws and regulations. And the Marine Patrol plane provides air support during various operations and search efforts.
I think a fellow officer best described it. What we do as the Maine Marine Patrol is the epitome of community policing. We integrate into the community as a community member. We live in our communities, we live around the people that we deal with on a day-to-day basis, and we deal with the same people oftentimes through the course of a career.
That's what a lot of it is helping people, solving problems. Certainly helping the resource is another part of it, but whatever fishery it is that you're dealing with, it all really comes back to the resource and the people.
Yeah, it's incredibly important to maintain relationships with the members within the communities that we work within. One Marine Patrol officer covers hundreds of miles of coastline. We have very few officers. And so, if you have the ability to gain the community's trust, they'll contact you with information, and without that trust, you're not going to be an effective Marine Patrol officer.
Hello, my name is Joe Fezenden. I'm the Chief of the Maine Marine Patrol.
And I'm Major Alan Talbot, Deputy Chief of the Maine Marine Patrol.
I've lived this job since 1975, and I've enjoyed coming to work every day.
We hope that you've enjoyed this look at our organization, and if you'd like more information, please go to dmr@maine.gov.